So in January 2023, Cisco announced that they have launched this certification roadmap, where you can review they are going to review the exams on the regular basis, and they are going to change the content as per the technology evolves. So they explained that earlier. They explained that they are going to change the exams in like 3 to 6 months. You will get the information 3 to 6 months in advance, along with the revised exam topics and release date. They are also going to give us the official certification guide updates that we can study and then prepare for the exam, then attempt the exam. So Cisco reviews each technology exam on the same quarterly schedule each year to make sure that exams align with the latest Cisco technologies. Then they will announce the changes, then they will publish the changes. And once they publish the changes, you will have approximately 6 months to, you will have approximately 6 months to take the exam, right? So this news was there in 2023 January, like this was on January. And they already did some changes in this is the roadmap. So in Q1, which is August to October 2022, they decided to review the data center and collaboration exam. In Q2, which is November to January, they actually announced the blueprint changes in the data center exam, and they started reviewing the security and enterprise exam. And as expected in Q3, in this quarter, right, in February to April 2023, they actually have changed the data center and collaboration exam. As you can see, green, publish. So they have already published the data center and collaboration exam. And they have announced the changes in the enterprise content, right? So this is done today, last day, basically the last day. They change the enterprise content. The changes are very minor, less than 20% has changed. So actually we don't need to worry about it. And they have started reviewing the service provider and the CCNA exam, and they most probably will announce the changes in service provider and CCNA in Q4, which is May to July. Right, so this is the matrix that you should follow. So you can expect the changes in 6 to 8 months in a year. So minor changes, if it is a minor change, they are going to say like it is a dot release, like 1.1, 1. Like this, 1.1, 1.2, 1.1, 1.1. So this is basically the minor release. And if something changes like more than 20%, then it is going to be a major release. It will be like a 2.0 for the exam. They have explained this here. If you want to go through this article, you can go through this article accordingly. And here you can also keep a track on the official certification guide when it is going to launch. And for example, like they have updated this one, they have updated this one, they have updated this one. So you can keep a track on the official certification guides from here, right? So they already did changes in the collaboration exam. They already did the changes in the data center exam, right? So first date to try the data center exam is April 20. First date to try the collaboration exam is April 20. They already did the changes. In fact, they retired one of the exam in the collaboration. They retired this exam. So this exam is no longer relevant. Last date to try this exam is April 19. So this is for the collaboration and data center. They already did the changes in the collaboration and data center, I think 20-30 days ago. And yesterday they changed this, they did some changes in the enterprise content as well, right? So CCNP CCIE core exam, they updated it to version 1.1. The NRC, which focuses on the routing part, they changes it to 1.1. SD-WAN, they already changed the SD-WAN to 1.1. Now they have updated it to version 1.2. Then ENSLD, then wireless design, wireless automation, and they have also introduced a new exam focusing on the cloud, right? And as far as our CCIE exam is concerned, this is also updated to version 1.1, right? So anyone who is preparing for CCIE or any other CCNP, Cisco CCNP CCIE enterprise content, they should, take a look at these changes that is done. So first date to try this is 20th September, 20 September. So we have still a lot of time to cover the content and take the exam before the changes are implemented. right? But you can expect now that the changes will not happen for the at least next year, right? So if we talk about like enterprise exam, the lab exam that we have, you can take a look at the topics from here. You can click on this exam topic and it will, show you what changes is done. So as you can see, this is all that is after revision in our enterprise infrastructure lab exam, right? If you compare this with the previous exam, you will notice that they have removed a lot of things. Like they have removed, I would not say a lot of things, they have removed some things. For example, in our switching, they have removed VTP. We don't need to study VTP now, right? They have removed a few things. They have, I don't think they have added a new thing. Let me see. But they have not added anything. They have removed, like, for example, VTP, they have removed completely, right? And a few things they have removed, but they have not added anything new, actually. Completely new, they have not added anything. In fact, for example, if you talk about the SD-WAN content, if you talk about the SD access content that is there in the software-defined infrastructure, earlier, this content was very limited. Earlier, this content was very limited. If you go through the previous content and if you go through this content was very limited in the older content, right? In the, I would say, current exam. But this updated 1.1, this has a few new things in this SD access content. But if you go through the SD access training, all of this content is already covered, right? Here, there is nothing that we have not covered in our SD access content in our classes. So earlier, this content was very limited. Now they have added new things in this SDA. And the SD-WAN content also, it was very limited earlier. They have added new things in here, the SD-WAN content. Basically, what they have done, we have a dedicated exam for the SD-WAN, ENSDWI. That exam focuses completely on the SD-WAN. They have added the things from there into this CCIE content. Exactly the same thing, no differences at all. In fact, in some limit, like a lot of things you will not see here, but you will see in the SD-WAN content. So, but in a moderate level, they have added things in our current CCIE lab exam, and they have updated it to 1.1, right? Same thing goes for the SDA content. Earlier, this content was very limited, but one needs to know everything about the SDA before they appear in the exam. Here also, in the SD-WAN, that earlier the content was very limited, but one should know in very detail about the SD-WAN, and then they should appear for the exam. Now they have added those things in the 1.1 update. So these things are already covered in our SDA and SD-WAN training. So again, there is nothing new in this section 2. It is still 25% exactly the same, focuses on software-defined networking, SD-WAN and SDA part. It is like not, I would not say exactly the same as the previous one. They have fine-tuned this SDA access and SD-WAN part, and they have added some things new, but nothing new that we don't cover in SD-WAN or SDA classes, right? Our transport technology remains the same. In fact, they have removed the Flex VPN. Earlier, we had this concept of Flex VPN. They have removed the Flex VPN from section 3. Section 4, exactly the same. A few things they have removed and a few things they have added in this one. Section 4 almost remains the same. And they have just, again, fine-tuned the things. They have removed, for example, like a few things regarding syslog and all. They have fine-tuned the things, but rest, for example, they have removed GLBP. GLBP is no longer there. Earlier, we had the GLBP, but now the GLBP is gone. So most of the content remains the same. Here also, they have added this, for example, Jinja language. It is used in SDA. We will see this being used in SDA when it comes to the templates in the software-defined access. So they have added this Jinja templates, Jinja language data encoding format in the programming automation. Rest remains the same. So this is the updated one. This is the updated content that one should follow if they are trying to go for the exam for CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure Lab. Right. And if you want to know what has changed, you can just click on this link right here. You can just click on this CCIE release note. Just click on that. And you will see what exactly has changed. This document only describes the changes that is done. Right. So if you go through the changes only, you will notice earlier the SDA section was this much. Earlier the SDA section was this, and now they have added like all these things. Earlier the SDA section was very limited in version 1.0. Now they have added a lot of things in the software defined infrastructure SDA part. Same goes for the SD-WAN as well. See, the SD-WAN part, Cisco Software Defined Wide Area Network, SD-WAN part was very limited earlier, but now they have added a lot of things in this SDA content. Right? Same, if you go for the transport technology, you can see, for example, here, they have removed the concept of Flex VPN. Earlier, they had this concept of the Flex VPN. They have removed the Flex VPN. Rest remains the same. They've added the point-to-point GRE tunnels, which we already covered. So nothing has changed, but they have removed this identify the use cases of the Flex VPN, right? So we still need to cover IKE version 2, but they have removed this dedicated use case of the Flex VPN. In this programming infrastructure section, everything remains the same. They have added this Jinja data encoding format. They have added this. Rest remains the same. They have restructured it. They have put something. They have removed completely this interaction with the iOS XC API. They have removed this part. They have removed this part completely, right? And they have limited the part up to 5.3b, only this part. So you can also follow this document to keep a track on what has changed, right? And if you scroll down, they will say, okay, in the network infrastructure part, VLAN database command is removed, VTP is removed. They have added a new topic that is called identify. Identify, we don't need to configure it. Identify multi-chassis Ether channel use cases, route leaking between the VRF using route maps, and VLAN aware software infrastructure, VSI, MTU, layer 3 MTU. This whole section 1.3D was removed, and these topics were removed. Fast convergence requirement, IP fast reroute feature. They have removed these features, and these features are added. OSPF address family support, loop-free alternative. We already covered it. These topics were removed. Multipath in the BGP, multipath, add path support. They have removed these things. So in the section 1, only minor changes are there. Very minor changes are there. In fact, they have removed this content, and they have added a few things which are actually, they have removed this VLAN database, VTP, they have removed this fast convergence requirement, faster route, they have removed this, and they have added a few things such as loop-free alternative, OSPF address family support, which we already covered, in our training. So again, nothing new here. The whole section has comprehensive overhaul. Both Cisco SD and SD-WAN tasks were restructured with the aim providing candidate with a more concise list of what knowledge is expected around these topics. So this is again same software-defined access, software-defined WAN. They have just restructured it. They have just added the topics from the ENSDWI, our SD-WAN exam. They have added some topics here, and they have more like restructured it rather than changing the content in this section number 2. Apart from in section number 3, apart from this topic, everything is as it is. Nothing has changed in this section. Everything is as it is. In fact, they have removed the technology extranet. They have removed the technology paternal quality of service, and they have removed the technology. They have removed this whole identify the use cases of the Flex VPN. So they have removed these things, right? Where the following topics were removed. A significant reduction in this section, depth, where following topics are removed. So they have removed this topic. Infrastructure security and services overall remains pretty much same as it was in version 1.0. Remember that port-based authentication is not removed. It is added in the SDA section. So this part is as it is. YAML line markup language, and Jinja, these 2 topics were added, and this section is completely removed. If you go through the changes, you will notice that they have done more removal in the content rather than addition in the content. So they have more like fine-tuned the content of our CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure Lab exam. And they are saying that starting September 20, if you take the exam at that time, you are expected to receive iOS XE version 17.9 and SD-WAN version 20.9 and DNS Center version 2.3. This is the expected release. This is what you will get at the software level in the CCIE exam if you attempt in this version 1.1. Right? So the version 1.1 overall changes in this content is less than 20%. Right? You can also go through this document to find out what things have changed, what things remain as. Most of the things remain as it is, so we don't need to worry about it. They have done more removal rather than adding new topics, so we don't need to worry about it. We anyway cover the SD-WAN in very detail. We anyway cover the SD access in very detail in our SD-WAN SDA classes. So you don't need to worry about these changes that they have done in the SD-WAN and SDA section. All the things that is mentioned here in the SD-WAN and SDA section is already covered in the SD-WAN and SDA training. So this part, this is the change that is done in our lab exam. This is the change that they have done in our lab exam of CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure. Now, to take the lab exam, you also need to take the core exam, right? Before you go for the lab exam, you need to take the core exam. So what has changed in the core exam? Quickly, let me tell you that as well. So if you go for this CCNP release note, it will list all the changes that is done in the core exam and all these concentration exam, NRC, SD, ENSDWI, ENSLD, wireless design, wireless infrastructure, then automation and cloud. So just click on this here, CCNP release note, and you can see what changes they have done in the CCNP content. Anyone who is preparing for the CCNP exam, they should go for this 1.1, 1.1, 1.2. They should keep an eye on the content that has changed. So if I quickly show you, okay, they say that product and technologies are evolving faster than ever before. To keep up with the pace, we are introducing new agile process that allows us to align our exam faster with these changes. Minor revision, basically this is minor revision. Up to 20% changes you can expect in the minor revision. Right, so if you scroll down, so CCNP Enterprise, so Enterprise Core and Core has been updated to version 1.1, NRC has been updated to 1.1, SD-WAN is updated to 1.2, Design is updated to 1.1, and then so on, right? And they have introduced a new exam called Designing and Implementing Cloud Connectivity, ENCC, right? This is the name of the exam. This will come under the concentration exam. This is a mix of everything. This is a mix of SD-WAN, IPsec, and all that, and how we can use these technologies to connect to the cloud world. So they have introduced the new exam. We'll just quickly take a look on that as well. Right, so exam code remains the same, and this is the new exam that they have launched. NCore, NRC, ENSDWI. Here it should be IE as well. ENSDWI, ENSLD, Design, and all. So if you scroll down, what changes are done in the NCore exam? Again, this is a minor change. This is a change less than 20%. So compared to version 1.0, the 5 domains remain identical, right? So there are still 5 domains that will test the candidate's ability to implement Cisco Enterprise Network Core technologies. The wireless technology that were added to the blueprint are wireless segment and client. Basically, these things are added. A few things are added in the wireless section, right? For example, like in older version 1.0 and 1.1, these are the changes that you can observe. So in the wireless, they have added this client density task. They have removed this identify, differentiate between on-premise and cloud infrastructure. They have removed this 1.3 task. 1.1a remains the same. 1.2, they have added this client density task apart from the other things. Explain the working principle of the SD-WAN, benefits of the SD-WAN, interpret wired and wireless quality of service configuration, describe different types of table, switching mechanism, right? Already, if you take a look at here, we have already covered all these things, right? Configure and verify common spanning tree protocols such as RSTP, MSTP, and spanning tree enhancements such as root guard, BPD guard. Already we do that. So earlier it was like RSTP, MSTP, now RSTP, MSTP, and root guard, BPD guard, and all those features. Right, compare routing protocols, EIGRP, OSPF, advanced distance vector. Okay, so does not look like any changes are done here. They have just added this area type, stub, totally stub, and all those things, right? So rest looks like the same. Policy-based routing, PBR, we already covered. So policy-based routing, they have added troubleshoot wireless LAN connectivity and wireless client connectivity issue using graphical user interface only. Describe, so we don't need to worry about the commands that we can use to troubleshoot the wireless configuration and wireless client. We just need to know how we can use the graphical user interface to troubleshoot these things. Okay, in the wireless, describe wireless segmentation with groups, profile, and tags, which is part of the wireless content. They have also added a new protocol here. This is what we call a precision time protocol, PTP, along with the NTP. They have also added this protocol called PTP. We can cover it in our content. We will see that. So NTP and everything remains the same, but they have added this protocol, this thing called PTP, precision time protocol. Right. Describe multicast protocol, RPF check. Okay. Syslog, remote logging, this is removed. This topic is removed. This task is removed. NetFlow, flexible NetFlow. Okay, fine. Lines, password protection, user authentication. EAP over LAN, extensible authentication protocol over local area network, .1x, wireless security features. They have this remains as it is. They have added 802.1x in our core exam, and they have added extensible authentication protocol over LAN, EAP OL in our core exam. And that's it. This is the changes. These are the changes that are done in our core exam. I would say, like, again, it is very less changes. This is less than 20%. Again, they have restructured the exam rather than changing a lot of things in there. Few things that are added is this one, like here, client density, .1x, and extensible authentication protocol over LAN. Rest remains the same. Additional technologies that were added is the adjacency table, PBR, RPF check, spanning tree enhancements such as root guard and everything. We already covered that. PTP, if I'm right, it is precision time protocol and cloud network design. Cloud EAP, syslog, standard NetFlow were removed from the blueprint. So again, this is very less change. This is less than 20% change that you can expect in our core exam. If you go for enterprise routing, this is an RC. Again, compared to this one, everything remains the same. What they have added, they have just everything remains the same. They have just added EIGRP. Like in EIGRP, they have added VRF configurations. Like earlier, we used to cover EIGRP only for unicast address family, but now we need to cover EIGRP for VRF as well. VRF Lite and unicast routing were added to BGP. In the routing, in implementing Cisco Enterprise Advanced Routing and Services, NRC, which is equivalent to route exam that we used to have. There they have added, again, only a few things. This we used to cover already. Now they have officially included in the content, and they have added routing, EIGRP routing for VRF. We used to cover it when we talk about the DM VPN. We used to cover it there, but they have now added it officially in the content. So again, this is not much change here. Only these topics were added. Rest remains as it is. Rest, everything remains as it is. In this enterprise routing content, everything remains as it is. Just these two topics are added in the content. This is less than 20%, I would say. If you go for the SD-WAN content, what they have done, they have added a few things. For example, they have added multi-region fabric. Rest remains as it is. Everything, rest of this part remains as it is. They have added this multi-region fabric. They have added this multi-cloud, which is like, how can we use these different clouds and how can we connect these different clouds such as Azure, such as GCP, such as AWS with our SD-WAN. We used to cover this content in our infrastructure as a service section. So now they have moved it to multi-cloud. So they are talking about that. Rest remains the same, remains the same, remains the same here. They have removed this topic here, orchestration with the zero touch provisioning and all. They have added this here under the onboarding section. And they have added this, this thing, configuration groups, feature profile, and workflows. So this is the only thing that they have added. Rest remains the same. Here in this section, everything else remains the same. In this section number 3, everything else remains the same. They have added this topic called describe configuration groups, feature profile, and workflow, which we will talk about in our SD-WAN section. In the section 1, they have added this multi-region fabric. In the section 1.3, they have added this multi-cloud, which earlier we used to cover under infrastructure, cloud on ramp for infrastructure as a service. Now this is cloud on ramp for multi-cloud. In section 5, then they have added this TrustSec, CTS, Cisco TrustSec. They already had application aware firewall, IPS, URL filtering, AMP, SSL TLS proxy. Now they have also added TrustSec. This they have already described in their book. Now they have added in the content. Same goes here, TCP optimization, DRE-LZ, algorithms, packet duplication, forwarder correction. This was already there in the content. In their official certification guide, this content was already there. Now they have added in the official content as well. Right, AppNav, which we see when we talk about the security features, containerized services and all. So that thing they have added here. So describe, again, this is not configuration, this is just describe application quality of experience. Quality of service also comes under this part. So earlier we only used to cover quality of service. Now we also need to talk about these things. We already talk about these things. This is the only thing that is new in this content. Rest is already there in your official certification guide, nothing new. So this is also, again, less than 20% changes that they have done in the SD-WAN exam. Same, you can go for the rest as well. Now you can go for the rest as well. This is the design part. In the design, they have added quite a few things such as STP, layer 2. See, design part is again a mix of like routing, switching, SD-WAN, SDA, automation programming. It is a mix of all those things. Like it focuses on the design. How should we design our network? So earlier the content was very limited in the design. Now they have added these few things in version 1.1, such as layer 2 security features, WAN connectivity option for on-premise hybrid and cloud solution, VPNs, how design site-to-site VPN for on-premise hybrid and cloud solutions. They have removed this section 5.1. Describe cloud services model in private and public cloud, SaaS, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. So this is from the design section. Again, minor revision that they have done in this section. A few things they have removed, a few things they have added. Now you can go for the rest. Like for example, you can go for the wireless section. If you are preparing for any wireless exam, you can go for wireless implementation. This is wireless design. This one is this focuses on the wireless design, designing the Cisco Enterprise Wireless Network. Minor revisions are done here. A few things actually got removed. For example, this hyperlocation topic is removed here. And this embedded wireless controller is added in this wireless section. Same, implementing the wireless design, minor changes are there, right? And if you go for enterprise automation, some things that they have updated here. So if you go for the automation section, you should compare what topics they have changed, and based on that, you should prepare for the exam. And they have added a new exam that is going to focus completely on the cloud. Here, if you take a look at this exam, this focuses completely on the cloud. How can we connect our infrastructure to the cloud? So architecture model, native IPsec, SD-WAN internet connectivity. So describe internet-based connectivity to the cloud providers. How can we connect to AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud using native IPsec and using, for example, SD-WAN technology? Describe private connectivity to the cloud providers. How can we connect to the AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud using private service providers such as MPLS and all? Describe connectivity to SaaS, software as service cloud providers like AWS, Azure, and GCP. They provide some softwares that we can run on the cloud. How can we connect there using these direct internet access, indirect access via cloud service providers and all. So this is basically this is going to focus on the cloud architecture, then the design, recommend the connectivity model to provide high availability, resiliency, SLA, and all those things. So this second section is going to focus on cloud design. Third section is going to focus on IPsec cloud connectivity, where we need to configure the IPsec in our routers so that we can connect to those clouds such as AWS, Azure, or GCP. Then how SD-WAN connects to the cloud. How can we connect our SD-WAN to the cloud? And then general operations. Operation like diagnose IPsec internet-based secure cloud connectivity between same thing. So it is going to focus this content, this exam, ENCC, that is design and implementing cloud connectivity. This is going to focus on cloud. So once the official certification guide comes, then we will be able to get more details about the content that we should know before we can attempt this exam. So these are the changes that they have done. You can download this. All these things. You can download the content from here. You can check the release guides and everything, and you can compare like the things that have changed. Right. So as you can see that there are not very major changes. It is less than 20% change in all these content. That's why it's a minor release. And most of the things we already cover in our theory classes. So we don't need to worry about that. However, if you are going to attempt the lab exams or the core or concentration exam after September 20th, you should prepare yourself based on these content rather than 1.0. So that is all that Cisco has changed in their CCNP CCIE exam.